6:30. I just noticed the clock has ticked. 6:31. So we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Alpharetta City Council to order. This is the City Council meeting and public hearing for April 17th, 2023. I'll note for the record that all members of council are present and accounted for, other than Mayor Pro Tem Merkel. And as always, we begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able, please stand and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item up on our agenda is the consent agenda, and that consists of the council meeting minutes from the meeting of March 20th, 2023, the alcoholic beverage license application, which is PH-23-AB-06, Golden Gal Bougie, we'll say, DBA Hole in the Wall Sushi, 3665 Old Milton Parkway, Unit 50, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30005. And also the financial management report for the month ending February 28th, 2023. I believe Councilman Binder wanted to remove that from the consent agenda. Was that correct? All right. Do I have a motion, excuse me, for the consent agenda? I did not. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion to pass the consent agenda minus the financial management. Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Mitchell, a second by Councilman Binder. In discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, please raise your right hand. And it passes unanimously. Do I have a motion for the, yes, do we have a motion for the financial report?
I could. I took it off the table just to give council an opportunity. I know since we're going through budget and we're looking at the monthly reports, sometimes it gets lost in the consent agenda if there's any questions or anything that would want. So I just kind of wanted to highlight it a little bit more on there. So
Thank you
give
for
an opportunity.
clarifying. Yes, sir. Does anyone have any questions about the consent agenda? Director Harris, do you have anything that you wanted to present on the consent agenda on financial management reports? Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on the financial management report? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion from council?
Yes, I move to approve the financial management report for month ending February 28th, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Binder, a second by Councilman Dorito to approve the financial management report. In discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. So that'll wrap up the consent agenda, and we'll move on to the public hearing. First item under public hearing is the ordinance for the municipal election superintendent and contracting with Fulton County for such purpose. This is the first reading. Would the city attorney like to go ahead and read this, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia, to amend Article 1 of Chapter 2 of the Code of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia, to authorize the appointment of a municipal election superintendent, to authorize the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections to conduct municipal elections in the city, to authorize the city to enter into a contract with Fulton County for such purposes, to appoint the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections as election superintendent, and for other purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Does anyone on council have any questions about the ordinance? Is there anyone in the public who would like to comment on the ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion from council? Do we have a motion from council?
Yes, Mayor, I'll move to approve on first reading ordinance municipal election superintendent and contractor of Fulton County for such purposes.
I have a motion by Councilman Dorito, a second by Councilman Mitchell, and that was to approve the ordinance as outlined by the city attorney. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. So that'll wrap up the public hearing, and we'll move on to the new business. And the new business item is intergovernmental agreement, Fulton County Election Services. Ms. Shapiro, I believe you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This IGA, we've had some discussions leading up to this, but this is the contract that we would enter into with Fulton County for Fulton County to perform our November 7th general municipal election. So this agreement with the county basically lists out our responsibilities in the counties in hosting the election. So the only thing that the city would be required to perform on the contract would basically be the qualification of candidates and all the filing officer duties that we typically do with filing campaign contribution disclosures, and then any other legal notices or ordinances that would need to be passed, as well as verifying voter lists, or helping the county or providing any information for voting locations within the city, and then also paying the county to run them. So right now, our pro rata estimate is $379,408.77, which that number could change depending on what elections are held within the county, and likely also because of the amount of registered voters that we would have. So this is for your consideration this evening. If you have any questions for myself or the city attorney's office who has reviewed this, please let us know.
Do we have any questions for staff on this item? Seeing none. Ms. Shapiro, do we have any public comment cards?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
However, if anyone would like to come forward at this time, now's your opportunity. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion from council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we enter into the intergovernmental agreement with Fulton County Election Service.
Have a motion by Councilman Mitchell, a second by Councilman Will. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. Second item up under new business will be the Unified Development Code Text Amendment, Crabapple Overlay, PH-23-01. This is the second reading. Ms. Cook?
Would you like me to go ahead and do that before?
May as well. It wasn't a very long walk for her this time. But.
You'd walk slower next time.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is an ordinance by the mayor and council of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia, to amend Article 2 of the Unified Development Code of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia, to add regulations pertaining to the Crabapple overlay, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
Mayor and council, I will just tell you, there's only been one change since the first reading, and that was just clarification of the height. So there was a sentence that previously said 3 stories or 40 feet. So we clarified that to say 3 stories and no more than 40 feet. So that's the only change since the first reading.
Any other questions from council on this item?
Ms. Cook, was the cap slide in the first reading?
It was,
Oh.
yes.
Any other questions from council? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment cards on this item?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
However, if anyone here would like to come forward, now is your chance to do so. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion from council? I'm still calling for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to, let's see, where is it here? To approve PH 23-01 Unified Development Code Text Amendments, Crabapple Overlay District.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Will, a second by Councilman Dorito. And that was for PH-2301 as read by the city attorney. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. And next item up on the agenda is the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant application. Mr. Sisevich, you have the floor.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is mainly a housekeeping item. By April 28th, we need to submit an application for a voucher program for the energy block grant, or we lose the $138,600. We're going forward with recommending the voucher program because we are receiving less than $250,000, and that is a recommendation of the grant program itself. The voucher can go towards technical assistance, rebates, et cetera, but we do not have to determine that at this moment. All we're now looking for is approval for the mayor to sign the pre-application so we could keep the $138,600.
Thanks, sir. Any questions from council? Thanks, sir. It's always good to stay competitive in this grant application arena. Ms. Shapiro, do we have any public comment cards on this
We do
item?
not, Mr. Mayor.
However, if anyone would like to come forward, now is your chance. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion from council?
Mr. Mayor, it'd be my privilege to make a motion for the council to approve the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant pre-award information sheet for the submission of a grant application to the Department of Energy for grant funding in the amount of $138,600 and for the mayor to execute all necessary documents.
Have a motion by Councilman Hypes and a second by Councilman Mitchell. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Pete. Final item under this part of the agenda is the Memorandum of Understanding, National Opioid Settlement. Ms. Tracy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what this MOU is a follow-up. As council may recall, the council adopted the opt-in to the National Opioid Settlement a couple of meetings back. This is sort of the second part of that. This is the Memorandum of Understanding that has been negotiated between the state of Georgia and the litigating defendants, Teva, Walmart, and others. And it sets forth the understanding of how the settlement funds will be dispersed to Georgia and then what the state's obligations are to the local governments who opted in. It's a very complicated formula as to how the funds will ultimately flow through the system, but it does spell out that of the amount that the state receives, that 40% of that goes to the local governments who are participating to contribute to the abatement efforts from the opioids crisis. That's the simple summary of it, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Do we have any questions from council on this item? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Ms. Shapiro, do we have any public comment cards?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
However, if you'd like to come forward, now's your opportunity. Seeing none, we'll close public comment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding for the National Opioid settlement with Teva Pharmaceuticals Industry, Allergy Finance, Walmart, CVS Pharmacy, and Walgreens Breeding Company.
Have a motion by Councilman Mitchell, a second by Councilman Hypes. and that was to approve the memorandum of understanding for the National Opioid Settlement. Any discussion? Councilman Mitchell?
There's no way any amount of money will recover the loss that families have suffered through these opioid crisis in America. It's affected our community, it's affected every community in the nation, and these pharmacy companies who allow this, there's no amount of money they can pay that will cure this or heal it in any way, shape, or form. But I'm glad there's some settlement being offered, although it's a fraction of what should be offered.
Thanks, sir. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And it passes unanimously. So now is the portion where we allow public comment. Is there anyone here that signed up for public comment or would like to come forward at this time? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Any reports this evening? Councilman Hipes.
Mr. Mayor, warm weather Alpharetta kicked off this last weekend. We had a tremendous response Saturday for the opening weekend of the farmers market after 2 rainouts, and there was a big crowd and people were enthusiastic, and I think everybody's looking forward to Saturday morning farmers market. We followed that up yesterday with the wine festival that was downtown, and nobody's letting their foot off the gas because just this coming weekend, Friday night, the Alpharetta Symphony will be playing. Friday night and Saturday night, Act One Theater will be having Shakespeare in the Park in the Grove over behind the Community Center. Saturday night, Home by Dark is back in Brook Street Park. And again, that's something that the city helps put on. And then also Saturday night up in Crabapple is the Concert on the Green, which is a fundraiser for the Alpharetta and Milton Police and Public Safety Foundations. And tickets are available for all of those. Act One, I believe, is a free show. So, so is Home by Dark. But lots going on in Alpharetta, and people are really enjoying getting out, and that's my report.
Sounds like fun will be had this weekend. Any other reports? So I do believe that there is an executive session necessary. So I will call for a motion to adjourn or to recess into executive session.
Motion to adjourn into executive session.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion was Councilman Hipes, second by Councilman Will, I believe, to adjourn into executive session. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it passes unanimously. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back shortly.
Second?
I have a motion by Councilman Mitchell, a second by Councilman DeVito. No one here is from the public, so we can close public comment. All those, done that from the vote, raise my hand. It's unanimous, we are reconvened. Thank you. Ms. Tracy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So after discussion in executive session regarding some matters of right-of-way that are in litigation, we had 6 finalized consent judgments that were brought to council that need to be ratified concerning parcel number 35 in the case City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus, I'm going to butcher this name, Nagarajan Ramachandran. Civil action file number 2022 CV 363746. This is a total settlement amount of $239,000. Had parcel number 44 in the case of City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus 0.023 acres of fee simple right-of-way et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364092. Approving this final consent judgment in the total amount of less than $23,500 that was originally deposited into the registry, with a remaining sum of $574.18 remaining in the court registry. Parcel number 49, City of Alpharetta versus 0.010 acres of fee simple right-of-way. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364146. Another case where the case was finalized for less than $29,700 deposited into the registry. $21,944 was paid out to a security interest, and the remaining $7,756 remains in the court registry for disbursement by operation of law. Parcel number 64B, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus Sean J. Phillips et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 363827. Final consent judgment of settlement for $7,533.23. Number 5 is parcel number 69, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus 906.88 square feet of permanent easement et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364147. This is a final consent judgment to be ratified for settlement in the amount of $6,000. And the last judgment for ratification is parcel number 34, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus Luis Ramirez et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364009, total settlement amount of $200,000. Mr. Mayor, we are asking for council to vote to ratify these consent judgments.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Any questions from the council on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for public comment. Seeing no public, close public comment. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mayor. A motion to ratify the final consent order and final judgment for parcel number 35, City of Alpharetta versus Georgia. City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus Nagarajan Ramachandran et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 363746. Parcel number 44, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus 0.023 acre.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Versus 0.023 acres of fee simple right-of-way et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364092. Parcel number 49, City of Alpharetta versus 0.010 acres of fee simple right-of-way et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364146. Parcel number 64B, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus Sean J. Phillips et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 363827. Parcel number 69, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus 906.88 square feet of permanent easement et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364147. And parcel number 34, City of Alpharetta, Georgia versus Luis Ramirez et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364009.
We can do all six, since we're ratifying all six.
The seventh separate.
Yes, Mayor, the
Yeah.
seventh will require a separate vote.
Do I have a second? Okay. Thank you, Councilman Dorito, for the motion as outlined by City Attorney Tracy. The last time I had to play.
It's all right.
And second by Councilman Wells. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And then the last item is another right-of-way matter. This is a settlement for approval. We are not ratifying this because it has not been finalized by the court yet. But this is parcel number 51, City of Alpharetta versus 356.77 square feet of permanent easement et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364152 in a settlement amount of $8,160.
Any questions from council? Tracy? Have no public? Close public comment? Do I have a motion from council?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve the settlement terms and file the consent order and final judgment for parcel number 51, City of Alpharetta versus 356.77 square feet of permanent easement et al. Civil action file number 2022 CV 364152.